Before we start, all I'm gonna say is, can you just please watch the full video? And this is because I want you to understand what many autistic people are feeling, including myself. As soon as you do watch the full video, you are able to understand my thought process and hopefully other autistic people's thought processes. So please, I beg you, watch the full thing. Thank you. Hi everyone, I'm Styleboy and welcome to my world. And in today's video, we will be discussing something that has definitely been the center of a conversation in the autistic community, which is about Mark Rober and the autism video. So, if you did not know, Mark Rober is like a YouTuber. I think he has 18 million subscribers, which is so much. How? He basically released a video like last Sunday, which was trending on the trending page on YouTube, where basically he was talking about autism because he has an autistic son. This video was kind of like a fundraiser to donate money for a charity that is not the best. We will explain that in the video. Then also announced he was doing a live stream with a bunch of famous people, including Jimmy Kimmel. Like him and Jimmy Kimmel are together in this live stream. Jack Black, the D'Amelio sisters, Andy Samberg, like so many people are also part of this live stream. Again, supporting the charity called Next for Autism, which is not a great charity. I will explain in the video why it's a bad charity, why the video made a lot of people upset, including myself, and also how to actually support autistic people further on, because this isn't just an issue with just that video. These are things that I've seen portrayed by neurotypical people, aka people without autism, constantly, and I want to discuss it on how we can improve. Disclaimers before we start. Number one, I understand that he's not a bad person, and I know that he did this with every single good intention. However, just because of intentions, that does not mean what he did was then wrong. And in this video, all I want to do is explain to you the problem. So basically educating him and viewers on why what he did was problematic. Number two, I don't know him. I've never met him personally. Also, I don't know him from his videos. I don't watch him. And number three, these are all just my opinion. I am autistic, so I am part of the community that he was kind of like talking about, because he was talking about the autistic community. However, I do not speak for everyone in this community, and I completely understand that. But I will say, from the autistic creators that I follow and the autistic people that I follow and I'm friends with, I know a lot of people are feeling exactly the same way as me about it, so I just wanted to express that in a video. All I'm asking you, please watch the full thing. I know I reminded you in the beginning. Subscribe, because it's Autism Acceptance Month, so you might as well. And without further ado, we shall begin. The first thing I want to talk about was the actual video, and I call this section, drumroll please, inspiration porn and autism. Basically, throughout the video, he was kind of describing about his son and the autism spectrum, but there was kind of like moments where he started to diverge into this like inspirational section. Like he talked about the idea of success and talked about how for a lot of neurotypical people, success is very much based off like monetary success, like money, or trying to change the world. While for a lot of autistic people, that's just not the case. Their smile and their things will do anything. And I think he said something like, they may not be able to change the world or find a cure for cancer or something along those lines. Their smile and their things will change the world, and that's what matters. Or it's stuff like, he used like a story about, they didn't put an autistic person in the basketball team, but on the last day, last round of like the last game, they put this one kid and he scored 4 goals, and wow, it was incredible. And he was talking about their smiles and their this and their that. And this is what we classically call inspiration porn. Now, the formal definition on inspiration porn is here, but let me explain it in my words. Inspiration porn is usually where disabled people are used for the sole purpose to inspire non-disabled people. And it's usually used within this kind of like way of saying that in spite of their disability, they are able to do this. And it's usually with the purpose to inspire neurotypical people or able-bodied people and make them feel good about themselves. So let's give an example. From the video, it would be the basketball situation, or it would be the example of he may not be able to find a cure for cancer, but his smile is enough. They're both inspiration porn. Even the other way of like, in spite of their autism, they are able to find love or go to prom. That is also inspiration porn. To me, this was one of the main reasons why I got angry with the video. And it is because it's it's really patronizing because it undermines the person's ability and their disability. And yes, I do understand that disabled people go through different struggles. For example, you will face struggles because you're deaf or you're blind or because you're autistic or because you have ADHD. I completely understand that. But also neurotypical people face struggles and able-bodied people face struggles. Not the same struggles, but struggles. Everyone faces struggles to get to where they are. So for example, to find love. And yet for disabled people, it's this big emphasis. It's like, whoa, that they're able to find love despite having autism or despite being disabled. And it's just really objectifying because you're kind of, again, putting us in this box, almost saying that we shouldn't or that we can't find love because of our disability, and that we have, it's really inspiring. Do you see the thought process of why this is toxic? Another one was like, despite their condition, they're able to go to prom. I'm like, well, going to prom is something that every child should do, regardless on their disability or not. And to kind of state that despite blank, they are able to do that is really condescending, because neurodivergent and disabled people should be able to live their lives no matter what way. They're human at the end of the day. And this kind of tone dehumanizes them to this little box of inspiration only. My sole purpose in life is not to inspire you to take appreciation of life. My sole purpose in life is not to make you go, whoa, I can do better with my life just by smiling more. I'm like, no, my purpose in life is whatever I want to make it be. It's kind of frustrating that at the end of the day, so many non-disabled people think that, and it's ridiculous. Yes, disabilities are not always easy. I get that. Like, even with my autism, there are moments where I struggle with things. For example, like sensory overload and meltdowns. I struggle with them. There are so many individual things that different people deal with, but that doesn't mean they're not capable of doing anything they want to do. If you get what I mean, like they can still do whatever they want. Like Molly Burke, for example, is literally such a good example of a disabled advocate who is doing so much with her life because she wants to, and she's a blind woman. Not every blind person has to be out there being an advocate or fighting so much. They can do whatever they want with their life. Deaf people can do what the fuck they want. Autistic people can do whatever they want. Greta, for example, is autistic, and she is literally putting her foot on the world by being an environmental activist. And then you have me, for example, like we're totally different. Like I want to work in the fashion industry. I kind of love fashion to death. Listen to what I said. I did not say despite her being blind, she's an advocate. I did not say despite she being autistic, she is an activist. I said she's blind and she's a disabled advocate, because those things are not mutually exclusive. You can be both. You can be a blind woman who is an activist. You can be an autistic woman who is an environmental activist. It's not rocket science, and to kind of almost separate them and say that one is less than the other is ridiculous. Also because a lot of the time, and this is the truth, who we are as a person is definitely affected by our disabilities. Like what we go through that's positive and what we go through that's negative, and our personality is affected by our disability. And to kind of see it as a separate thing or as a less thing is ridiculous, because it's almost like undermining ourselves. We're still equal to every other human, and we should be able to get the equal opportunities as every other human. And to kind of like think like we're lower, so we must use them as purely inspiration, can be very ableist. It's saying that we're not able to do whatever with our disability. So us doing something that every other person can do is astonishing, when in reality it's just living life. And now I'm not saying that doing something that is inspirational and incredible is a bad thing. Oh my god, no. But don't use disabled people as purely inspiration for you to live your better life. We should be seen as human beings and as equal, not as less or as an inspiration so we can exist in your world. Low-key, I felt very proud of that point. Look at me go. Reason number 2, the charity. Okay, here's a little bit of a trigger warning to my autistics and any disabled people. I kind of get onto the topic of ableism and also the topic of like preventing autism and finding a cure and whether autistic people should exist. So if this triggers you, because I got emotionally triggered by it, please skip to this timestamp. Your mental health is way more important, so please skip to the timestamp. Thank you. The charity basically that they're working with is Next for Autism, which is a very bad charity. And let me explain why. They put in their mission statement that they want to prevent and cure autism, which is very similar to another charity, which is Autism Speaks. Both of these charities are very, very much disliked by the autistic community because no one wants to be prevent or cure autism. We want to be understood by others, and we want to be able to live in a world and exist where we get equal opportunities and we are able to coexist with neurotypical people. And we want our accommodations to be fit. We want so many things, but we've never asked for a cure. No one wants a cure for disability. And especially when you are trying to find a cure for autism, the reality is you don't want us to exist. And that's a simple fact. You don't want autistic people to exist in the world. And that's fucking disgusting. I don't even care. Like, it's heartbreaking and so frustrating and saddening because at the end of the day, I should exist, and it's so ridiculous that I have to fight for my existence in this world, and so many people don't realize that. These charities and these groups are basically fighting against us. It's just fucking heartbreaking because again, it brings me back to all the ableism that I've heard. So for example, I was in a room when we were talking about genetics, when we were talking about PSHCE, and my form tutor said out loud, if I found out my baby had autism, I'd abort it. Me being an autistic person in the room really upset me because you're basically saying I shouldn't exist. Even if you didn't mean it in that way, you're saying it. With so many people supporting this charity and donating, because I already know they've got donations, you're supporting that process of thinking that I should not exist in the world. And it's so hard already because like this world is not designed for us. The way that society is at the moment isn't designed for neurotypical people or disabled people, and with just this statement pushed further, it's really fucking hard to hear because I do deserve to exist and I should exist. I should be able to live life how I want to live it. Especially because I know that he doesn't mean harm, but with him supporting this charity, it's like, so what do you mean? Because also if you want to help your son, this is not helping your son, this is worsening his life. There's already so much uneducation to do with autism and neurodivergence in general and disabilities in general. There's already so much going against us in this world, like, and just this on top makes even my day so much more harder. Like I remember even thinking about it and just feeling so sad and so miserable, and even now I just oh yeah, please don't support it. I don't support the charity, don't support the live stream. I beg you, disabled people deserve to live in this world. I understand that little bit was very hard to watch. I was editing it and even like now I'm like slightly feeling it and it's a lot to watch. I do understand. So please, to my neurodivergent and to my disabled people watching this, please take care of yourself. Like do whatever you need to do to take care of you and make sure you feel good, because despite all this chaos and despite the mess, you are important, you are valid, and your mental health is valid. So please take care of it and please make sure that you are okay. Okay, so let's go on something a little bit more positive and how to actually support the autistic community further on. So the first one is actually listening to autistic people. I really don't understand this is hard. Do not speak over autistic people, speak with us. So for example, for a lot of autistic people, we prefer being called autistic versus being called a person with autism. And that is literally because when you say a person with autism, it makes it sound like this detachment from it. And it's like almost like I can chop and change it. If you take my autism away, you take me away. Because I know that so much of my personality is because of my autism. So for example, my empathy levels and my excitement over the tiny little things in life. That is why, my friend, you can't do that. And that's actually one of these most simple examples. There's so many other ones. And so please just listen to autistic creators. Secondly, follow autistic creators. There are so many. I'm gonna put a list on here of like a bunch of my favorites. They make great content, so please enjoy yourself. I think what would be really appreciated, just talk about it. Talk about autism and listen from what we talk about, because honestly, when the discussion is had, you know how happy it is. When it came to like National Autism Acceptance Day, do you know how nice it was that people were posting the story? It just made my heart warm. And again, be a great ally and just talk about it. Like two of my friends, basically online friends, who are incredible, actually interviewed me to talk about autism, and it made me so happy because again, it's from an autistic person but also a queer autistic person, so that's even cooler, who were Christian, aka C Torres, love you dude, and also DeAndre. He has like a whole series where he interviews different queer people and it's incredible, and I'm part of one of the episodes. So please go and check that out also, because you will not regret that, please. So that's literally a simple way of like, talk to us, discuss it with us, post about it. Do not leave us out of the loop, because those little things, as tiny as they are, even if you repost a story about autism, do you know how much that makes my day? Because it just shows that A, you're listening to us, and B, that you actually support us. So please continue the conversation, and also support autistic approved charities. I'm gonna put 2 posts that talk about autistic approved charities in the description. They are great ones to talk about which ones to support and which ones not to, and those can honestly help autistic people get the acceptance that they need, and also for the world hopefully to be educated on what it actually is versus what neurotypical people are saying it is. A little message to all my autistic folks out there, because I know this video was a little bit more heavier, so let me give you a message for you. You are valid and you are incredible within your own identity, okay? You can do anything you want in your life, because that is your life and you should live it the way you want to. You are valid, you matter, you are worthy, you are doing incredible. As long as your autism is valid and is worthy and should be appreciated, that is incredible. You should be proud of who you are, and you should celebrate that every single moment of the day, okay? I do hope you enjoyed this video. I do understand it was a bit more tougher, but I promised you next week we will have some fun. Hopefully you subscribe, and I shall see you guys next week with another new video. Bye everyone.